Bailey Armour and Scott Shapiro here with another Kentucky Downs edition of Horse Sense. Last week, I think, was a pretty fun conversation. We went through the Travers last week, but of course, this week, racing in Kentucky is back at Kentucky Downs. They just opened yesterday on Thursday, and then tomorrow, Saturday, is their big Nashville Derby Invitational card with a $3.1 million purse for a stakes race at Kentucky Downs. I mean, I know they're known for their big purses, but Scott, I think that's pretty crazy.
It's a couple things. One, it's crazy, and topics for another day to discuss why the purses are that big and how you feel about it. But what an opportunity for owners. These trainers, a lot of them get up plenty of opportunities, but I mean, not 3 million. So it is an opportunity for connection. Maybe some horses that really are running over their heads when it comes to purses to have that big shot. So you would assume a lot of these horses should be ready for their best shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I am heading down tomorrow to go watch the races tomorrow morning. I'm pretty excited to see some of these horses. Of course, we've got those three stakes on the card that we'll cover today, starting with the $3 million, like I mentioned, once again, crazy, Nashville Derby. That is a mile and 5/16 on the turf. We've got a full field of what, 12, 13 for this? Pretty big race, I think. And there's a couple options that I like. Um, I think the thing that I like the most about Kentucky Downs is that you really can go for a price play here. I was looking at the results from yesterday, and I think favorites were only winning like below 30% of the time. Like you've got horses
That's pretty chalky though for Kentucky Downs yesterday.
chalky
I
for
mean, there's
Kentucky
days where
Downs,
there's
yeah.
none.
But
Yeah,
you've
there's
got some very easy high, double digit horses coming in. So I feel a little more comfortable spreading out, especially with this money back special promotion that we're running on First Bet and Express Bet. So you can get your cash back up to $10 if you finish second or third in up to 3 races per day at Kentucky Downs. This Saturday, it is these 3 stakes races that we'll cover. So I'm going to take advantage of that promotion and start off with the number 11 Loginos for Steve Asmussen and Christian Torres here in the Nashville Derby. A very close second in the Hall of Fame at Saratoga on August 2nd earlier this month. I think a little extra distance could prove beneficial for this horse. And he broke his maiden here under Christian Torres at Kentucky Downs last summer. It was a sprint race, and they've steadily been stretching him out further since then. He was a pretty significant price that day. And like I said, price plays have been hitting. Christian Torres has been able to handle this horse better than any other rider who's ridden him. So I'm going to take a stab against the field with this one. But I also kind of like the looks of number 8, White Palomino for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. Good combination, competitive field in the Belmont Derby, but I think I'm on the 11 Loginos here.
Yeah, the White Palomino is number 5. And one thing to note, good information on the promotion that I've been already taking advantage of. Recording this on Friday. Luckily, got my money back on one of my horses on Thursday. White Palomino is number 5, but only one win bet, so only your first win bet. So I know you mentioned maybe spreading out. If you're spreading out win bets, which not something I do regularly, but for long shots, it's not an impossible strategy to be successful at. Just remember, you only get one of them for the promotion. To me, there's a lot of unknowns in here with these Europeans. I would think they're the likeliest winners if they fire their best shot, but I'm not going to back them. And with the money back offer, I do think it allows us to maybe, assume maybe one of them will beat us, worst case. I'm kind of like that in general with these Europeans first in the States. I don't follow the racing as much over there. I'm going to roll with number 2, though, Abramar. Ken Ramsey, the owner, plenty of wins at Kentucky Downs over the years. And I just think this is a colt moving in the right direction. I don't see a ton of speed in here. He's got some tactical speed. In fact, he's been on the lead. One of his wins was a Gulfstream on the front end. So I think Edgar Zayas will kind of have options to maybe go to the front, sit just off the pace, but I like the direction this one is moving in. I know he didn't win the preview DG Derby, Dueling Grounds Derby on August 3rd at Ellis, but he was best that race. The winner got a much better trip. He battled all the way around the track and put away the other speed quite convincingly.
Yeah, you'll definitely see a lot of those Ellis horses shipping down to Kentucky Downs. It's an easy trip, especially since they run that preview day. And then you have the random like European horses that come over, and the trainer brings one horse a year. And then, maybe they win and fire like crazy, or maybe they don't bring anything again until the next year at Kentucky Downs. So you really do get a wide variety. I think that's why I kind of love and hate Kentucky Downs, because I feel like it's a lot harder than other tracks to handicap, especially with this European style turf course, like how the turf course goes downhill on the backside before they come to that turn. And then that first turn is just so big and wide. I sit in tailgate and it feels like they still have 800 more miles to run when you're down at the tailgating section.
Yeah, I've been there. I was there once as well. It's unique. I wouldn't try to tell you that I don't think it's a little more gambling than most. You know, it's all gambling, but I feel like sometimes you can be a little more confident than others in all sorts of kinds of races. And at Kentucky Downs, my confidence level does go down a little bit. There's just horses that don't like it there. And if they haven't raced over it multiple times with a large enough sample size, we really just don't know.
Now, the race that I do feel a little bit better about on this card is the next race, the ladies turf sprint, 6.5 furlongs. Of course, you've got the Spendthrift campaign, Richard Mandela trained favorite horse, Ruby Nell, on the rail with Edmund Maldonado in the irons, who is a very nice guy, by the way. If anyone gets a chance to meet him, highly recommend. He's so nice. I met him out in California a couple of times, and he's great. Very smiley.
This
Uh,
does not say that all the other jockeys are not nice, though,
of
right?
course, not to say that no one else is nice, but I haven't met every jockey everywhere, just a couple sometimes. Spencer knows how to campaign their horses. This one's definitely no exception, but I'm going to play against her with. Now, I want your opinion on this. Okay, number 11, Dance Macabre, Kelsey Danner at Animus gets up. 5-5-1 for 11 starts. For a sprint filly, I think is great. This is her like 8th or 9th straight stakes appearance. She's 6-1 on the morning line. I think she'll probably get bet down a little more than that. I don't know if she's going to be a super short price, but other big names in this field, I think, are going to take some late money. This is one I'm pretty keen on. And then I think Ruby Nell is going to get into some sort of a speed duel with the number 3, Ag Bullet for Richard Baltus. Her fractional time's a little bit different. She's shipping from Del Mar, and this is her first appearance at Kentucky Downs. But I think they'll probably send the two of them, and it could open up for a very quick closer there at the end. But you've only got 6.5 furlongs to go, so who's to say?
I don't think either of them will make the lead. Ruby Nell is a two-turn speed horse to me. When she ran 6.5 furlongs at in the Unzip Me at Santa Anita last out, she was well off the pace. So they might try to send her, and that's definitely your friend Edwin Maldonado's best game. He's a
Yeah.
tremendous front end rider, gets horses out of the gate, really knows how to ration out their speed. AG Bullet does have some speed, but again, coming at a couple two-turn races, I think Coffee Maker will be on the lead. But I think it's going to be an honest pace to your, kind of to your point that there will be a battle up front. And I landed on Dance Macabre as well. I think second off the layoff for Kelsey Danner, proven form over this configuration. Now, that didn't go well for me with Sabalenka on Thursday's card, but I'm going to go back to it and count on horses that we know have run well multiple times over this surface to maybe do so again. And with that honest pace, outside draw, I think this one should be set up for a big effort. Little camera shy in the last couple, but does have 5 wins overall.
Yeah, I think that that's especially one of my bigger strategies when it comes to betting Kentucky Downs. I always look for horses that have run here and how well they've done, just because it's so different than any other turf course. Like you said, you've got, 1 and 2 turns, you've got this big wide turn, these really big full fields, and the stretch is just so long. I think that I
Yeah.
really want to see a horse that's run here before.
Yeah, the only problem with it is, someone that, looks at math and statistics is at time, a lot of stuff is there's just the sample sizes are small. So we're still kind of working with very limited stuff. I do think I'm with you. I like, obviously I just said it before you. I do like horses with the experience over it that have run well. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't, look at 0 for 2, never hit the board and just assume they can't run on it. There's a
Right.
horse I like on Sunday a little bit that it was over 2 over it. And I look back and there's, some reasons to think that isn't the case. But anyway, we can move on. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Always good educational notes from Scott Shapiro. Now, last one of the stakes races here. We've got one get out race after this one. This is the ladies turf stake, a mile on the turf. To be quite honest with you, and I told you before we started filming, I really don't like this race. I think it's kind of hard to handicap. This is one that I would probably play for the promotion to see if I could get my money back, but I wouldn't spend a lot of effort and bankroll on this race. The only one I really like here is the number 4, Implicated, for Brendan Walsh and Tyler Gaffleone. He picked up a couple wins yesterday. She appears to be a pretty consistent horse every time she runs, comes from just off the pace, except for like one time when she had a bad day, and I'll forgive her for that. But honestly, there's nothing that I'm crazy about in this race in comparison to the other 2 stakes races.
Well, we also talked about the fact that we're not going to love everything as horse players. And I think learning to use your budget in the right spots and, press up when there's a promotion. It's great to get involved when you have insurance and reasons to. That's a reason to, just like having a strong opinion. But, there's going to be races, you'd rather be, press up your stronger opinions with your budget each day. I did land on Implicated. I looked at this race and I looked around, and I think there's a lot of runners in here that either maybe a little subpar, maybe a little underwhelming for what I expect their price to be, or have seen better days. And I don't think that's the case with Implicated, who's gotten better of late. Now, the one concern I have, and why I'll need the 6-1 or maybe 5-1, is these last two races, she has entered the Brendan Walsh barn, which is a major, looks like a major positive. Chad Brown, one of the best turf trainers in the world. Brendan Walsh was very capable as well. But the Lasix in the last two starts will not be there. The anti-bleeding medication that she was able to use at Churchill in the third level allowance event, and then up in the grade 2 at Nassau. So that would be my only concern. If it wasn't for that, I'm pretty sure I would really, really like Implicated in this spot. But then you got to take that into account. There is a little bit of a variable there. So you want to make sure you get the right price. But I'm clearly on Implicated or bust in this race.
I think I would need 5-1, somewhere in that ballpark. What about you? To really
Yeah, because you're adding to the, I would probably be cool with 4-1 if she had Lasix, or if the other, more so, she's not going to have Lasix. If she hadn't been racing on Lasix in these other starts, maybe blinkers were added and there was something different that was going to stay the same that Brendan did that Chad didn't, maybe found something, maybe the horse just maturing a little. But yeah, I think 5-1, maybe 9-2, depending on if there's scratches. But I do like the direction this filly is moving in. It's just a matter of how much that's Lasix induced, if you will. And, another variable that we really shouldn't have to deal with as handicappers.
Yeah, it's been so dry here in Kentucky recently that I think a lot of these turf races will play a little bit faster than they would if we had had rain here this summer. I think we're in a drought right now, actually. I know that my grass is very, very dry and the horses are not happy about it. So I think you'll see a little bit more speed here this weekend. After we get these full 3 days of racing under our belt next week, I think my attitude will probably change just a little bit after seeing how the track performs. I mean, we've only had one day so far going into handicapping this hard. This card. There we go. And that's not a big enough sample size for me when it comes to Kentucky Downs. Like I said, I'll be there tomorrow, catch a couple races on Sunday before heading back this Labor Day weekend. And then next weekend, they've got another big weekend as well. So keep an eye out for some more Kentucky Downs plays right here.
Yeah, just keep an eye out as well. I have a blog every day on the 3 money back special races. I know Bailey mentioned it, but it's get up to $10 back on your win bet. First win bet if your horse finishes second or third. 3 to 8 races a day. They're up on that promotional page. And I have one up for these races. If you want a little more detail, maybe in a couple of the spots that we didn't get to, on a specific horse. I didn't write up every horse. And then I also will have one that should be up by the time you see this on for the Sunday card, probably up sometime on Friday.
Well, there you go. You heard it here on Horse Sense. Keep an eye out for some more Kentucky Downs content from Scott Shapiro. I'll be on site tomorrow down at Kentucky Downs. I'm Bailey Armour, and this is Horse Sense. All right.